Hello, ladies and germs. I'm here to review a new film called Invictus, starring Morgan Freeman and Matthew Damon, directed by Clint Eastwood. This is, going in, I thought that this would be more of a political pseudo-drama. I didn't think the sports would have as much to do with it, but, I don't know how to explain it, but I wouldn't say I was overly pleasantly surprised, but I was kind of pleasantly surprised that the rugby, played a big part, because I wouldn't call myself a fan of rugby. I don't follow it, but I do enjoy the thought of rugby, I guess, because I do think it's a good game. Getting into the performances, the two main performances here, Morgan Freeman as Nelson Mandela. People have said that he was born to play Nelson Mandela, and I mean, I don't know much about Nelson Mandela. I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew what was known, like, in the public eye about him, but I didn't know anything about him in depth. And as far as his mannerisms and stuff, I'm not quite sure of. But it did seem like Morgan Freeman, from what I've heard, from the times I've heard Nelson Mandela talk, he's pretty, I wouldn't say spot on, but he's very similar to Nelson Mandela. And I think that the look is there, obviously. Matt Damon as Francis Francis Pinar. I'm not good with names, so I apologize in advance for any movie review you hear. I don't know. Even my favorite movies of all time, I won't know who the main character's name was. I just kind of call them by who plays them. Like, for example, the whole movie, I wasn't calling him Nelson Mandela. I was calling him, well, Morgan Freeman did this. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. But Matt Damon was pretty good here. I think he did a pretty good job of trying to understand Nelson Mandela. This is very much Nelson Mandela, a.k.a. Morgan Freeman, a.k.a. Nelson Mandela's movie. Because the Matt Damon character of Francis Pinar mostly was there to kind of instill a sense of awe in Nelson Mandela, as Francis got to meet him, and he didn't know Francis didn't know this thing. His father was kind of, I guess he'd be like he's kind of like a conservative, I guess, or he just basically hates black people, although they never come out and say it like that. You could tell. So he obviously is brought up in a strange way, not a strange way, actually, not a strange way at all, but that way. So he goes to meet Nelson Mandela, and he's basically changed by him, and they strike up a pseudo relationship through Nelson Mandela really hoping and wishing that the Springbok, which is the team of South Africa, or the area of South Africa they're in, that wasn't really cleared up for me. I'm not sure, but the Springbok is the team that Nelson Mandela roots for, or not roots. Actually, he doesn't root for. That's another storyline. It's the team that is their home team. Okay. And Matt Damon's the captain, so Nelson Mandela wants to meet with him because Nelson Mandela feels that it would be important for their team to win, but for the morale of the country, basically. There's a lot more that goes into it. For example, a lot of the, I don't want to use the word indigenous, because they are modernized, but the natives, aka the black people of South Africa, they didn't like they didn't like what the Springbok represented, because the people on the Springbok were, this isn't making sense. The people who used to root for the Springbok were highly involved in the apartheid. So basically all the fans of the Springbok were the people that didn't like them and caused them hurt in many ways. So they didn't like the Springbok. And Nelson Mandela, he kind of vetoed a vote where they were going to change the Springbok's colors and all these things about them, because he said that the time for fear is over, and it's time for, if we're going to be afraid of things, he has to end the circle at some point. and this would be where he ended the circle. I'm not doing the movie any justice by my plot synopsis. As you know, I'm not a very good synopsis person. This is a must-see movie, and I think that I'm not going to give you much hope. I'm not going to tell you that it's amazing, because I don't necessarily think it's amazing. I just think that, you know, it all depends on how you look at things, and I think that if you're the type of person that is mindful of change, or if you're the type of person that enjoys, or not, I wouldn't say enjoys, but if you're the type of person who takes an interest in national figures and seeing them in real light, which I do believe that this film, I mean, from what I know, it follows basically everything that happened for real. If you're a person that enjoys that and likes to see that, this is definitely a movie you'll like to see. The acting is top notch. Matt Damon and Morgan Freeman and basically everybody else. The other main character, I don't think there's anybody else in here that you would know. Because I don't know anybody, so I doubt anybody else would. There's a character of there's no pictures. A lot of these are no-name actors, but he played the head security guard for Nelson Mandela. He was pretty good. Yeah, just some good supporting stuff here. I just think that, you know, if you're looking to go see a movie that's going to blow you away, you could go to see Invictus and you could be blown away. Or you could go and just think that it was a decent sports movie, or you could go and possibly not even like it. But I think it'd be hard not to like this movie. Personally, on my scale, I really was touched by a lot of the lines that Morgan Freeman said. A lot of inspirational, uplifting quotes and stuff like that. You could just tell, by the way that he was acting, if this is true, which I do believe it to be true, that Nelson Mandela was a great person, or is a great person, or is a great person. So, I mean, it's all on how you look at things. I think that, for me, I'm going to give this a 7.7 out of 10. 7.75 out of 10. Almost a great movie for me. I would say it was very good. So let me know what you guys think about Invictus. And that's how Sue sees it. Yeah, I went there. I totally went there.